Hey there, it's Coach Edwards, lacrossegoalietips.com and lacrossegoalieuniversity.com. Welcome to another weekly blog post. Great question this week, but first, before we start, shout out to new goalies that have subscribed to the free newsletter at lacrossegoalietips.com and who got the free audio as well. Welcome to goalies from Ridgefield, Connecticut, Aurora, Ontario, Canada, West Islip, New York, Barrington, Rhode Island. Love Barrington, Rhode Island. Beautiful. Corning, New York, and Summit, New Jersey. Okay, the question this week is, dear coach, I'm starting to think that I shouldn't be playing lacrosse goalie anymore. I like the position and I'm pretty good at it. Actually, I'm the best on my team, so I'm the starter. I'd like to play lacrosse in college, but don't think I should be a goalie. The reason I think this is because I'm really good at running and have good stick skills. I feel explosive, but my endurance is better than my explosiveness. Should I make the switch to midi? Thanks for your advice, Trevor. This is a great question. And, it's one that as an athletic development coach, which I've been for a long time, kind of outside of the sphere that you know me in lacrossegoalietips.com, that's my background. And one of the things we have in athletic development is when you have a sport and you know the needs of the athletes within that sport. So whether it's basketball or hockey or rowing or archery or weightlifting, every one of these sports we know has like an ideal body type, right? And so what countries do is they will have like recruiting events to find athletes and basically, keyhole them into the correct sports based on their abilities, their parents, and so, but what we do in North America is a lot of times we fall into a sport that we like, and then we try to be the best we can at it, and hopefully that leads to whatever the goal is. In lacrosse, the goal is to play Division I lacrosse, right? That's like the pinnacle is to be a Division I lacrosse goalie. But you may not have the necessary parts or abilities to make it at that level. So this is a phenomenal question. So the first thing I tell goalies to do, and it's kind of been a theme the last couple of weeks here, is take an inventory of your game. And what Trevor did here is he's done that. He's kind of gone, hey, listen, I'm the starting goalie. I'm the best kid on the team, and I'm good, but to reach this goal that I have in the future, maybe I shouldn't be a goalie, because what he's done is he said, his endurance is better than his explosiveness. And that's pretty interesting because they're really on opposite ends of a spectrum, right? You have like long, slow, steady, on one end, and you have explosive on the other. So now as a midfielder, you can run up and down the field, no problem. And, you can do that quarter after quarter after quarter. Whereas what a goalie needs is that goalie needs to be the most explosive athlete on the team. It's why I tell coaches not to have their goalies do long endurance work with the team. They should be doing sprints instead. And so this is a great question. So Trevor, like any goalie, needs to take an inventory of his abilities, which he's done. Okay. Now, the other question I throw out there is, what feels good to you, right? Trevor, this is really interesting. Inside, Trevor knows that, maybe lacrosse goaltending isn't really his thing ultimately. He's good at it, but maybe taking a different step and making the switch to midfield is going to get him further than where he would be being a lacrosse goalie. And that's a really interesting point. What I talk about in my lacrosse recruiting ebook is this concept of what do you want? Do you want the dream of playing Division I lacrosse, or do you want to have a great lacrosse experience in college, which can happen at any number of schools: Division I, II, III, MCLA, Division I, Division II, NAIA schools, you name it. It's pretty amazing. So, what feels good to you is in your gut is usually a really good answer for you. So don't dismiss that. It's really powerful. What does your coach say? Right? What your coach says is also, interesting. And this can be tough because, like, if you're the only goalie on, let's say, your high school team, and the other goalie is like really bad, it's going to be hard for your coach to say, Trevor, listen, I think you should play midi. Especially if he's got a lot of middies. Your coach is trying to put together a team with the best possible athletes at each position to have the best possible results as a team. So you might not get the best answer there. So keep that in mind. But if you have a good relationship with your coach and he can say, hey, maybe you should play midi. I did that once for a member of Lacrosse Goalie University who we did a goalie critique for them. It was a goalie, I believe it was in New Hampshire. And this goalie had aspirations to play Division I lacrosse, but was also phenomenal at, had great hands, like really great hands, and really really agile. So he was the goalie on his team, but he could be an attackman. And ultimately, he made the switch, which was really good. And I think he ended up at a Division III school. A really good school somewhere. I can't remember what it was offhand. But that's an interesting thing. So, if Lacrosse Goalie University and getting a free critique is something you're interested, check out lacrossegoalieuniversity.com. I'd be happy to have a look and let you know my opinion. Okay? So, know this. A great athlete can pretty much play any position. And I know this for a fact because I know college coaches who recruit athletes over recruiting position players. Like Dom Starja at UVA has a history of recruiting basketball players or football players off their basketball tape and their football tape, and then with the knowledge that he could turn them into a lacrosse player, because that's what he did as a player when he attended Brown University ages ago. So if you focus on your athleticism, and you will find out as an athlete which direction you really should go in. If your endurance is easy for you, that may be a direction to go in. Okay, so this is a great question. It's not an easy answer, Trevor, so I appreciate that. I hope you do too. But if your gut is telling you that you should be a midi, then go ahead. You may feel bad about it if you're the team's only goalie, but the coach will find a way to fill that spot. You've got to be true to you. And the other option to throw out there is that maybe you're a midi in a club team, if that's an option for you, and you play goalie on your high school team, right? Because they need you, and there's value in that too, Trevor. Don't forget that. There's value in being part of a team and helping a team and all the things that goes along with that. We tend to lose that nowadays, but only you can really answer it, Trevor, so I wish you luck, and thanks for the question. So if you like this video, do me a favor, share it, like it, Google Plus it, post it on Facebook, any of that stuff. Just send it to somebody who needs to hear it. And if you've got a question for me, email me, coachedwards@lacrossegoalietips.com, and I will talk to you next week. Cheers.